One of the biggest challenges probably every city in America faces is homelessness. In Fall River, we've taken that battle on head first. We have people that are under severe addiction issues, mental health issues, people that need support and help, and we do that around the clock. And working with the Community Development Agency has been the main part of this. My administration with community development keeps our focus on making life in the city of Fall River better for everybody, including our unsheltered population.
Prior to COVID, the city of Fall River obtained approximately around $240,000 a year of ESG program funding for prevention of homelessness. Once COVID hit, we had our challenges. We received over $2 million in ESG COVID funding. That's 10 times more than the funding we receive on a yearly basis. We worked very diligently and hard to figure out the best way to use this money to provide services to the homeless population in the city.
The first step in is Stepping Stone's emergency shelter program, and we are currently at 30 beds. We have like our own little continuum of care here to meet people where they're at and engage in all the services that are going to help them so that they have a better life after shelter. The shelter was greatly impacted by COVID. The needs were immense. We did not operate with PPE. One of the things that we knew was that our responsibility was to keep people safe. All of the things that were recommended to maintain a safe shelter, we needed. The mayor and the CDA department actually got together. We were doing Zoom meetings when we were all locked at home. And then when the ESG COVID money came, our community just went to work. It was gloves, it was masks, hand sanitizers that were touchless. A company came and deep cleaned our shelter regularly. There was so much. Everything that we needed was provided. We also were able to begin working on an outreach component that was working during COVID so that we could safely transport individuals that had symptoms to the hospital. All of these things were really useful in managing the crisis. During the pandemic, staffing a shelter was extremely difficult. We put together a hazard pay policy that would allow us to pay them an additional $3 an hour. The importance of that funding is really, I don't think you can put a value to it, because I don't think we would have been able to manage maintaining the operation of the shelter without it. 25, 30, 50 more people would have been out on the streets during the pandemic. I don't know anyone that wants to be homeless. And when we have resources that are here for them and that, somehow you reach them just by letting them know they're valuable, we do this work so that people can have the life that they deserve just like anyone else.
As an agency that's been in the business for 49 years, we knew the rules and regulations. The problem we had was some of those rules and regulations required us to tackle activities that we had never tackled before. We had a real big problem in the city in terms of being able to house our homeless population. We had a shelter that only provided 30 beds. We wanted to provide them with access to testing and vaccinations. Having additional shelter beds meant that we could service more and more people.
For the last 6 years, I've worked for the city of Fall River, and I've watched as the homeless population was left behind. As a former homeless person myself, I really was getting disheartened. We had no funding, we had an administration that wasn't willing to help. Thankfully, with the CARES Act money in this administration, we have done some amazing things and continue to do amazing things. When COVID hit, we only had the capacity for a very small amount of our homeless population to even get a shelter bed. With this COVID CARES Act funding, we were able to increase not only the beds at the regular shelter, but also open an entirely secondary site, which got an additional 50 people off the street. We have saved lives, which is the most important thing, but not only saved lives, we made their lives better.
In 2012, we stopped by City Hall and met with the Community Development Agency and asked where we could help. And we were directed to First Baptist Church over on North Main Street to help with the homeless program for the winter overflow. We realized that the numbers were growing and we had to expand the program. So we continued to set up a whole network of churches throughout the city. Every 2 weeks we would have to move so that we could still be considered a temporary shelter. As a growing place of worship, we realized we needed a permanent home, and we actually signed the documents on our new building right at the beginning of COVID. The city stopped in and said they were looking for a place for homeless individuals to be able to quarantine if needed. We were able to partner with the city, partner with the federal government, partner with these other organizations, that through this COVID funding, we were able to build something that we weren't able to do before.
So the Tomeo Center is more focused on day-to-day operations, serving the homeless population within the Fall River continuum, meeting the needs of the people in the community and helping restore some of the dignity and the value that's been taken away from a lot of that population. That COVID funding changed everything and allowed us to provide for a lot of the needs that weren't being met. With us being able to still remain open, we were able to give people access to those basic needs. We could quickly identify if someone started to have symptoms of COVID. It also helped us make sure that we had the staffing so that we could accommodate the people that we needed to.
With the COVID funding that we received, we were able to build out a whole section of our building to handle our intake center, adapt our kitchen to be able to handle feeding the amount of people that we were having come through, adapt our laundry area to pipe in commercial laundry. We used the funds to purchase new cots for all of our guests, add in 3 air handling units throughout our building that have air filtration systems built into them to help clean the air and provide heat and air conditioning. The city talked to us about the concerns for if we lost power, decided that we were going to put a generator in to power this area, so God forbid we lost power in the middle of COVID, we would still be able to function as needed. There's literally been hundreds of people that have come through this program that we wouldn't have been able to do had this money not been provided for us.
I really think what we're doing here, I almost get upset when I talk about it, is just been so impactful in such a short time that it's encouraging, because I really see everyone coming together for the wellness of the people, and it's our neighbors. That's what it comes down to, and that's what we're called to do.
With the creation of the new homeless drop-in center at the Tomeo Center, myself and my street outreach team, we are now going into the encampments with a place to bring them just for the day. They're filling out resumes, they're doing job searches, they're starting to feel good about themselves, and the collaboration that's happening due to all of the homeless services working in conjunction with each other in this building has made such a world of difference.
I don't feel alone. I feel part of a team. We are a group of people who have a common goal, and that's to help people get to the next phase of their life and to enjoy and participate in a way that they haven't in a really long time. I feel like we're a community, and these COVID funds have brought more people to the table. They've allowed us to do more impactful work.
All of this was made possible by the CARES Act funding, and I know in my heart that it needs to continue. We cannot go back to the silos we were working in before.
I'm very, very thankful for the partnerships with Stepping Stone, Catholic Social Services, Spindle City Church, Rory Durham, Cloudburst Consulting, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Boston office. Bob Shemako, the director there, Laura Schiffer, unbelievable. The number one person that I really have to be thankful for through this whole COVID process is the city's HUD rep, Ashley McKinnon. Without her and the HUD office, we wouldn't have been successful. With this funding, we've made so much progress. I want to keep making progress. I don't want to go back. Receiving this funding in the future needs to be a possibility, because everyone deserves dignity.
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 Everyone deserves dignity.